Hi YouTube, part 2 of the homebrew series. So I left part 1 with saying I'm now going to go away and do everything I've just explained, which was clean and sanitize everything. Have done that, it's all in here. Everything that I said I was going to go away and clean and sanitize, I have done. If you're thinking I was talking about introducing bacteria, I've just literally washed my hands and sanitised them before I came in. So, a couple of things still left to sanitise. I've got a little jug of water here. Tablets. You'll probably see that bubbling away there. So that's just to sanitise some bits. So that's the sugar that we've got to put in, but we've got to open that. And there's the beer, the syrup. We've got to also, that's a normal tin can, so we've got to open that. You're going to think I'm really anal now, but everyone to their own. I've got to open that beer, so I'm going to sanitise that, and I've got to cut the bag open. So open them scissors, sanitise that as well. So I'll just leave them till it dissolves. Once it dissolves, it's literally 5 minutes and it's sanitised. So while that's doing, I'll get everything set up and get ready to start the brew. You can probably see there's a pot on the back here that's been washed and sanitised as well. I use that. I'll boil up some water for the initial 6 pints to put the syrup in, and doesn't really need to be sanitised because you're boiling water in it, so that'll sanitise it, that'll sterilise it itself anyway. The wife bought me this. She tells me she loves me. I don't know, you decide. You comment down below, see if you think she does. I'm sure there's a message there somewhere. Anyway, so we're ready to go. We've got the beer, we've got the yeast, everything's ready to rumble over there. Let's get cracking. Okay, 2 things have changed. 1, I've put a jacket on because a little bit chilly, and 2, cheers. Oh, that's good. No more coffee. It's just boiled, I'll just turn you on again. So the first stage is, this is very gloopy inside, so it recommends that you stand her in warm or hot water for a couple of minutes. I'm going to stand her in for about, I don't know, 10 minutes. Just a normal jug. Probably burn my fingers when I get that out of there. We'll put that in now, while I'll just go through the next couple of stages and then you'll see me do them. So while that's standing for 5-10 minutes, what we do next is, this is now empty, fully sterilised, and can you see 23 litres is the top measurement on there. But it's got increments in, so you can measure where you're up to. So what we'll do with that is, once this is done, discard the water and we'll open it. If you remember, where I put it, here it is. This is now fully dissolved. So that's a sanitising solution. So I'll open the tin, get as much out as I can. And I'll probably put some boiling water in there and then just get the last drops out. Once it's in there, I'll top that up with 6 pints of boiling water and stir it. I'll put the sugar in as well, which is here, which I've got my scissors sanitised to open that, and we'll put that in there. So in this tub you will have the contents of your can, 6 pints of boiling water, and the sugar. In this case, for this one, it's 1 kilo. Some of them have, like, I don't know, if you do a medium wine, probably 4 to 6. Some of them I've seen with 8 kilos of sugar. I tend to stay clear from that because it's not cheap, and the expense starts to build up. But this is great, 40 pints, and you only have 1 kilo of sugar. So all that goes into this. Once it's dissolved, then I'll top that up with ordinary drinking water straight from the tap. Top that up to 23 litres or 40 pints. It's really important that you top it up to that line. You don't add 23 litres or add 40 pints, because you've already put 6 pints in, so you'll then have 46 pints. So when you get your final brew, it won't be 40 pints of beer, it'll be 46 pints of beer, which sounds good, but it's not actually good because it'll be weaker. It won't be as strong. That might be great for some people. You could probably go up to 50 pints, 55 pints, but by that point you'll be on 2% beer. So you top it up to 23 litres or 40 pints, no more than that. So that's what we're doing now. I reckon this had a few minutes now. I'll open this and get it poured in. So I just notice this as I turn around. This is the hygrometer. So if you want to, you don't have to. If you want to know the average, you're not going to get it exact, but if you want to know the average percentage of your beer, when you're just about to taste it or drink it, you do 2 hygrometer readings. One at the beginning. So there's 2 ways of doing this. Once I've topped it up to 40 pints, you can do this before you put the yeast in or after you put the yeast in. Different people do it different ways. For me, I don't think it matters. I'll just top it up to 40 pints, take a sample, and then I'll add the yeast in. You take a reading off this, which I'll show you, jot it down, take a reading after once it's finished, and jot it down. Do a very quick calculation, and that'll give you the average ABV. So that'll tell you whether it's 3%, 4%, 5%. Generally you don't get much more than that. But yeah, we'll talk about that when we come to it. So for now, I'm just gonna, yeah, it is hot. Ouch. Sanitised tin opener. The smell and the sight at this point is not something you'd want to taste or smell. It doesn't really taste like beer. It tastes, well, it's not beer. You've still got to ferment it. But it doesn't smell very nice. So that is actually steaming on the inside, so this should come out pretty easy. Make sure the label doesn't end up in there. And quite a lot still left in there. So I'm just going to remove this label. I don't want any of it to actually fall in. because there's not a lot in it. It's already started to go hard again. So boil the kettle. Put my stir in there. Another mouthful. While I'm doing this, when I said earlier, you might think I'm a little bit anal for sanitising the scissors and the bottle opener. People wear gloves to do this type of thing. People actually put gloves on so that they're not coming into contact all the time. I think if I sanitise my hands, I wash and sanitise my hands before I do this, I think that's enough. I've not, when I started out and I never used to do all this, I used to have I used to lose a lot of beer and a lot of wine. So there's probably a quarter of a pint in there. That's not gonna harm much of the brew. This is now done. I won't use this to stir until it's at least sat in hot water or been sanitised again. Good job I don't need that. So that's pretty empty. Now I like that smell. That's not a beer smell, but I like that smell once you start adding things in, because I know what's coming probably. So there's the tin done. It's in there. I'm now going to top that up to 6 pints of hot water. Okay, next stage. The kettle's just boiled. I'll just click it on again, make sure it's boiled. And this is the last 3 pints. So kind of hoping that doesn't steam the camera up, but so in there I've got the contents of the tin, the homebrew tin, and 6 pints of boiling water. What I'm going to do now is put the sugar in. The instructions don't actually state put it all in at once, don't put it all in at once, but my experience, and probably yours as well, if you put loads in, it'll probably clump up. The whole aim of this stage is just to make sure that it's all dissolved. Just keep going. And then top up to 40 pints. So you actually only should be looking at putting 34 pints in this. Well, less than 34 pints, because there's probably a pint and a half in the can, in the homebrew kit. So it's all there. It's all, so this top line, even you don't have to use this one, but top up to the top line. If you don't top up to the top line, I don't know if it'll be stronger, I don't know if it'll work, I don't know if all kits will work, some might not, it might be stronger, I don't know. But I tend to, when I'm dealing with like 40 pints, I tend to just follow the instructions. I'm not one for experimenting. I've been watching on Facebook I've mentioned in a previous video that I'm in this group called Life for John, and there's John's now thinking about experimenting with something called the Grain Master or the Grain Father. I haven't got the courage. I haven't got the guts to start putting your own malt and your own grains for different flavours and all that kind of thing. I don't know why. I think I'd probably be alright with it, but it's just that step. I'm quite happy with doing a kit. If I get 40 decent pints of lager out of this, especially this time of year, I think it's the 10th, 11th, let me just see the clock, it's the 11th of November. So by Christmas, this should be all my Christmas beer. 40 pints, it depends how many people come around the Pleb Tavern. My mate Phil down the road, he's a lager drinker really, but I know his partner Tina drinks the same as me, Galahad Lager, or as Life for John calls it, crap beer or fake Fosters. But I'm sure she'll have a couple of pints of this. So there you go, it's dissolved straight away. So that has taken me up to 6 pints, and the contents and the sugar has taken me up to, I don't know if you can see that. This first line is 10 litres, so that's probably 5 litres. So what I'm going to do now is fill this up just with normal cold water up to the 23 litre mark, or 40 pints, and then I'm going to use the hygrometer to take a measurement, and then I'm going to add the yeast, and then it's over to the brewing cabinet. So I'll catch you in a minute once I've topped that up. So there's me 40 pints. This spoon just about reaches the bottom. My fingers would probably touch the top of that head if that starts to get a head on it while it's fermenting, which it will do if I'm doing it right. Then that'll start to I'll start to touch the actual beer, so that's where this comes in. In the last video I said it's a cable conduit, but it's made out of plastic, the same stuff as the spoon is, but it's longer, so I can get to the bottom and not risk touching it. So I've got the contents of the tin, 40 pints of lager. I've used 6 pints of hot water and 1 kilo of brewing sugar. Like I said in the last one, you can use other sugar, but brewing sugar is a lot less coarse, it dissolves easier, and it's just better. I don't know the science behind it, but it's just better. So that for me is now fully, looks quite dark, it can probably lighten during the brewing process. That for me is fully dissolved. There's 23 litres or 40 pints of beer in there, lager. I'll seal that up and then show you the airlock. So the next stage you don't have to do, and I'm not going to go into much detail with this. If you want me to, put a comment below and I'll do a video just on using this, the hygrometer. So this is an hygrometer. This at the bottom, this black substance, it's not a substance, well it is a substance, that's just a weight. The rest of it is a sealed unit and it's glass. I've dropped more of these than you'd care to think of. And then the rest of it has got all sorts of, let me see if I'm hoping that's focusing. There's all sorts of different measurements that you can do on that. You can test the specific gravity, which is what we're going to do, the APV, the alcohol, all that kind of thing. So we're going to test the specific gravity before, which is basically how much sugar is in it, and then the specific gravity after, which is how much sugar is still in it. Because I think we all know that sugar in a brew turns to alcohol. So if you test the sugar before it starts brewing, before you put the yeast in, and then test it again afterwards, there won't be as much sugar because it's all turned to alcohol. So by getting them two numbers, you can then do a calculation and work out approximately how strong your beer is. Here we go. So if I put that in there, it's floating, it's not on the bottom, and that's the reading that I take. So the manufacturers has already put it within the red zone, so I know I'm just going to look again that that's okay. So it's there, which is 0.380, just half water. Okay, next step. Okay, the brew's in the fridge. It's not a beer yet, but it's in the fridge. I need to control the temperature. So this thing up here controls the temperature. I've already showed you this. It's called an Inkbird. You can see the flash now. It says AH 28.1 degrees. That's what temperature it is at the minute where the probe is, which is lying on the floor behind this. I'll just show you how to do that. So there's a black wire here that comes through a drilled hole in the side where the power for the heater, which is down below, also goes. So this is the back. I could run this up and drill a hole in the top, but I don't want to do that. So all I'm going to do with this is anywhere will do, just somewhere there close to the beer. So that's the thermometer. Turn this then round, so that's at the back. The reason it's at the back is because this down here is the heater and that's the furthest away, so that'll give us the most accurate temperature of the whole cabinet. You can see on top here I'm going to fill this with water, and then that's got a seal that then creates an airtight container for the beer to brew. So on this, I'm just going to click set so I can show you a couple of things. If you hold TS, that's TS means the temperature set value. So it's set at 19.5 degrees. I said earlier, in between 18 and 20 degrees is the perfect temperature for brewing beer. So I've set this at 19.5 because I also said the higher the better, or quicker. Next one, HD. So from that 19.5, HD means heating differential. So 1 degree is higher than 19.5. CD is cooling differential, 1.5, which is 18 degrees. alarm high. So when it gets to 21.5 degrees, I've told it to alarm. Alarm low when it gets to 17.5 degrees, I've told it to alarm. And PT, which is the last one we need to be concerned with, means compressor delay. So rather than the heater and the fridge kind of argue with themselves and it's like on off on off on off, I've told it to delay by 2 minutes. That can be 10 minutes, that can be whatever you feel comfortable with. So on off all the time, we're trying to avoid. So that's it. This is now running. The reason that's flashing now is because the alarm high is on 27.1 degrees inside this. As soon as I hang this up, which I'm going to do now, and close the door, it'll start to control the temperature within that cabinet, and my brew will start to brew, basically. So there you go. I'll hang this up here, and that's where it sits. So if I close this door now, move them wires out the way. Obviously I need to put a bit of water in that airlock, which I'll do now. But there you go. That was the alarm. There's no noise on that because I've cancelled it. And then you can see there the green light, which says cooling, because it's now cooling because of that alarm. If it goes the other way, it'll say heating. If it's too cold, it'll say heating. Brilliant piece of kit, this, as I've said in the last video. So there it is. The beer's on. The next video will be part 3, and part 3 will probably be transferring from the barrel, once it's finished fermenting, into the dispensing barrel, which is to clear it. And then part 4 will be my tasting, which is the one I'm really looking forward to. Like and subscribe, please, and fill your boots.